Like, I know I'm not good at it and I know it's not my job, so it feels more creatively free, because it's like no one's going to expect an amazing video from me, but like I can still make a video. Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I tend to split my time across commercial and non-profit or community projects. My friend Ophie messaged me a few months ago asking if I'd like to work with her on a poster, and it included dogs, so of course I said yes. I wanted to take the opportunity to actually document this process, our creative processes, and have a nice little chat with a friend. So I hope you enjoy the video. There's a bit of us chatting, there's a bit of Ophie painting, and there's a time lapse of my illustration. So yeah, thank you. This is my first time actually like interviewing someone as well, and I realised yesterday, I was like, oh yeah, I can't just turn up and like have a yap. I
mean, we kind of can to an extent.
Yeah, I think I would definitely prefer a yappy chat. Should I sit?
Do you want to
Should
sit
we
next to
sit
me?
like we were having a chat instead of this?
I mean, that's totally doable. That's much better.
Yeah.
Because I was a bit like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on then, ask me a question. The name's Ophie Del and I'm a multidisciplinary artist as well as a bartender, and I go under the name Ophie OG for everything that I do in that capacity. So yeah, I've been practicing art for quite a while, but especially I'd say I've been back into it since like 2023, and yeah, I've been doing a little bit of work, but more so lately with all the collaborations with the beer shop and the poster with you, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What happened in 2023 that made you get back into it?
I think I really needed it. Since I moved here, I was doing like a lot of abstract collages, but I knew it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I didn't really have the inspiration. And then it actually, like, the inspiration came in the way of like, I don't know, a bit of a saving grace. I just had these ideas come up, and I decided to kind of build a little shop / exhibition on the back of it, and Lee and Lauren at the beer shop said yes right away. So that's kind of what kick-started not my comeback per se, but like just my practice.
Yeah. Do you think like before 2023 you identified yourself as like an artist or a creative?
Not really. Well, I'm a full-time bartender, and that's always been my career, so to say. I became a manager, I opened businesses, so at that point I always thought of that as my main occupation. But obviously art, illustration, and just the creativity in general has always been there in so many forms, but I did not think of myself as an artist. I knew it was an integral part of myself, but it's not something that I thought defined me.
Do you want to talk about how the whole project itself came about?
Yeah.
Sort of from the start to where we are right now.
So it started at the end of last year. I had a meeting with Lee and Lauren from the beer shop about their plans for the 5th birthday, which literally just happened now. We're in mid-March 2025. Yeah. Basically their idea was to have me be the artist this year for their murals. So they have an artist wall within the bar, which changes every year, and so they kind of announced that I'd be the next artist, which was awesome. And then Lee talked about eventually the idea of collaborating with 5 breweries and produce 5 different beers for the 5th year anniversary, and that's kind of where it all started at that point. And then fast forward to January, I think there was definitely like the brewing plan in place, and that's when I started getting all of my ideas together and having to put the concept together between the mural and the 5 collab beer cans and tab badges. So that's where it all started, basically.
Yeah, that's quite a tight, for the brewing part to start in January and for the deadline to be March. That's a pretty tight turnaround.
Well, for me especially, I think it was, which made it definitely challenging, but also I think it made me really work within my abilities.
So when you did the beer can labels, you were working directly with the breweries. And sort of just handing your work over to the designers there.
So I did that with Moot exclusively.
Okay.
There were the first can basically that it kind of shaped the deadline as well. So I knew that I had to send them the can design first, and I knew it was within the 2 weeks of having started the project. It was my decision to hand over my work, and I did so because we did speak about it earlier. If I know someone's really good at what they do, I'll go to them. And I know Danny at the Doodle Bar, who is their designer, so she makes all of the designs for Moot. I was told, obviously, you know, she's the one to speak to. So because the deadline was so short and I was still in the process of making, well, because all the designs are made in paper cuts first. So I was making the practical work, then the kind of design work, and it had to match the mural, which did not exist at the time. So I was in a bit of in a cycle where I needed the help. So yeah, I sent everything to Danny, and she was really helpful, really happy to help. And that was a great process for me because it helped me get more time to then finish the other 4 labels in a bit more of a relaxed manner.
So did you hand over the shapes?
So I gave her like a draft of what I wanted the label to look. I do a lot of bootlegging anyway, so I just took a Moot label and stripped it, made it monochrome, took off like some of the details, and then kind of added the shapes to just send her that as a draft. And she completely got it. There was obviously a couple of things that just couldn't go through. For example, I was messing up their logo a little bit too much maybe, which in hindsight is something I should have thought about. But
what do you think? What were you doing to it?
I just like because it was for the Mersey can, which has the hands on it, and the fingers were like overlapping with the logo.
I see.
So going from black to white, it was really intricate. It didn't really look good, to be honest. And Danny was super cool and was like, by the way, we kind of still need to use the logo. I was like, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so she laid it out pretty much exactly in the same way as I did. She was just really helpful in kind of taking charge of the graphic design element. So I designed the other ones entirely myself, but I think being able to have Danny do the Moot one meant that I had the time and the comfort to like really research how I wanted to make the rest. So yeah, that's how they came together.
The mural came first, and then the beer cans, and then the dogs came along. Yeah,
absolutely. So the first beer that we brewed was at Moot Brewery, and when we were there, they were just talking about how like we're gonna need to find names for the collabs, and on the way back we were having like a mini brainstorm trying to think about. There's a lot of puns in craft beer for beer, so we were trying to kind of like go on that tangent, and then I thought, obviously as a bartender you give a lot of nicknames to people before you learn their names, obviously. So we were like, oh, how about like we kind of use like some of the nicknames for some of our regulars. And when we spoke to Lauren about that, she just had the genius idea of the dogs. So instead of using people's names, we'd use like regulars' dogs. And she kind of put like a story on the Bishop Folkestone account, put a little story on being like, do you have a pet that you'd like to name a beer after, or do you want to nominate a pet? And after that there was the dog competition, which completely blew up.
Turned into something much bigger.
Absolutely, yeah. I think like, yeah, it was like it was a huge paradox for us, because we thought going away from people's names would be a way to be like very fair and just like make it maybe a bit easier, but actually the dogs, I think it's just like we love our pets and they're super important. And I think if anything it didn't have, because some people can be maybe shy in nature, so they wouldn't want to have something named after them.
Yeah, it would be quite spotlight on one person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But the spotlight on the dog suddenly is like, so it was awesome. It was amazing. But yeah, so we decided to name all of the beers after the dogs that would win the competition. Yeah. And that's when the dogs came around, basically. Yeah, and the labels were done. Yeah. So it was just the bits for the names. Yeah. And then there was a gap where the dogs' faces. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was my worry. So although, I mean, I did study illustration and I do a lot of illustration to an extent, but drawing is not my strong suit at all. However, because I had already started on the cans to be within deadline, I was just like, what about all of these dogs? Like, they're not gonna be included within the design. And I think that's something that made me kind of sad, because I really wanted the dogs to be represented and celebrated. And so the idea came very quickly. I just thought we should do a poster that incorporated the dogs. And in the spirit of collaboration, I thought of you right away. I think it's just I've always been like that. I love the idea of including people that practice their craft the best, in my opinion. I'm quite like a fast-paced person when I take a project on, and I think I'm quite quick at putting like an idea to paper, and also usually not turning back. I think once the project is starting, I'm like, right, this is what I'm gonna do. So actually the fast deadline, it was a mild inconvenience at first, but actually it made me work like my best. You were like decisive. Best. Yeah, very much so. Well, I had no choice. Have you done much work in a sort of, I guess like within a deadline? Yeah, like to a commercial work for a product. Yeah. I've had. I mean, I used to assist Lizzie King in London doing a lot of like the window work, but I didn't, so like sign writing and doing, you know, illustrations on windows, but that was very much her work. And I wasn't part, luckily for me, of the admin side of things. So no emails, no back and forth with clients. So that's probably the most experience I had. I did do a beer can with both Docker and Brink Brothers, I think last year. But it seems like for all of my projects I get a lot of creative freedom, so I can organize myself. And I think usually people are impressed that I'm quite fast and I can take the reins. But I think that comes from my background in management. I'm very good at not thinking, okay, I'm going to do everything, I'm going to learn how to draw dogs, so at least I take the credit. It's not at all my vibe. I was just like, let's find an illustrator, Jen, and then let's just get it going. And I'd seen your work for the Pride Folkestone poster, and I loved like the style, the dynamic, the colours. And that was another thing as well, like the cans I knew were going to be monochrome, so the idea of having like a colourful poster just made sense. So and it kind of ties the murals and the cans together in quite a nice way, and the dogs, so they're all celebrated in one place. Absolutely. I mean, as much as like to reasonably large murals and a set of 5 beers was quite a lot of work, but also like a lot of my work being featured. I thought we need something else to like. I think you're so right. It ties it together really well, and it just offers like just another like little piece of memorabilia really to remember the birthday by. Because the drinks will be drank, the kegs will run dry. But at least there's like a little memento for the birthday, the beers, and just the spirit of collaborating. So yeah, it just made sense.
That's beautiful. The shapes you've used in the mural are a common theme across a lot of your work. So where did those shapes come from?
They just came from that period of time I was talking about earlier. It was really, I think when I started, so I moved from collaging to paper cutting. When I started paper cutting, as I said, it was in a period where I really needed it and wanted it, and I think I found a place of safety within that practice. And I tried to create images that would essentially like protect me and make me feel good, and that's why the themes of amulets came through. It's a time where I was very much into, well, I always have been, but ancient civilizations, and my inspirations were very much related to nostalgia and the idea of a home. So I thought creating all of these symbols that I can then put together would be like very helpful to me and would surround me with like, I don't know, just safe images basically. And that's how I turned them around. I think when I first started, many people found some of the symbols intimidating, like the chains, the hands, the eyes, which at first were one eye, so the eye. But I decided to give them a different meaning. So I appropriated the negative imagery and turned it into a safe imagery. I kind of left them for a while. Yeah, there was maybe like almost a whole year where I didn't use them and I didn't make anything with them, but they've come back. So it's good. It feels good. Yeah. Once more, I think it was a period of time. It feels like I make them when I need them.
Yeah. So how did you find painting it? Was there anything that sort of an unanticipated challenge or like
the size of it, I think.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the first one was at the art house and it was a big wall. But I think like I cut a lot of corners then. The background was black and the shapes were in colour. So I used like a Posca pen to kind of like neaten my lines. And I just was like, okay, well, this is my first time. It's okay to cut corners. You know, I'm just trying it out. But this time, because it is the second time and I've been practicing painting since, so I had a bit more of an idea of what I wanted to do, but also it was like, you gotta do the lines by yourself. So that was very challenging in a way, but also very enjoyable. My dreams to become a painter. So
yeah,
I think like making the mural happen made me feel like closer to the dream. So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. And at the end of the second day, I was just up on the ladder, like both eyes crying, but not sad. And I thought I was going to be sick. And I was just like, I need to stop. Like, this is too much. So physically and mentally, absolutely draining, but in terms of experience, invaluable.
Yeah. The creative bucket list one, I couldn't decide if that one was like a cheesy one to ask. Do you think that's a good question to ask?
I think the way I turned it is like, maybe you could say bucket list or upcoming projects. So we can kind of plug some stuff.
Yeah.
Shamelessly.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Because I'd happily do that.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I have it. I don't have any projects that I can actually talk about yet.
Okay, that's not entirely true. I do have things I could talk about. I just have a really bad memory. The first one is my partner, Mem, and I started a design studio sort of late last year. We make web-first interactive experiences. The first project we had was called Bewitching Technologies. It's a tarot-inspired oracle card game, and it's live now. You can go play it. It's really cool. We actually just filmed an interview for it, which is also live now. So you could go watch that next. We talk a bit about our design processes, just the project itself. We also built the brand identity and website for an indie music venue called The Grove. Links for all these projects are going to be in the description. And if you need web experiences or branding or anything building, like, drop me a message, let us know. Our doors are open. I'm also working on Folkestone Pride again this year. I worked with them last year. I made the t-shirt last year, which was already mentioned in this video, but the t-shirt this year is pretty cool. It's very punk inspired, and I've sort of looked at the history of Pride and tried to squeeze as much of that as I can into one t-shirt. I've also redone their identity as well, and I'm really proud of it. I think it's so cool. Lastly, I've just finished a project with a local studio called 5 for 8. And it was for Donovan's Bar, which is in London. We designed their new cocktail menu together. We shot it all on a little Sony Cybershot digital camera, and then made these gorgeous collages and scanned them in on a flatbed scanner. I think it looks so cool. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to release that project on my Instagram and in my portfolio soon, so you can go and check that out. Lastly, the beer shop poster, which is what was created in this video, as well as the mural and things. There's still some prints available in Ophie's shop. At the moment, there is. At the moment of releasing this video, there are still some prints available. So if you want to grab one, I'm also going to drop the link for that in the description. I think that's it for me. I have some other projects, but I can't talk about them yet. So I'm going to hand back to Ophie.
What projects do you have coming up that you can talk about?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can talk about most things because my bucket list and my projects are very much intertwined. I think if I have an idea or a collaboration that I'd love to do, very much like us, I'd just go for it and just ask the people and make it happen. So two people that I love, whose work I love, Amy Craddock and Luke Wayman, both, she's a jeweler and goldsmith, and he's a photographer. We're looking to do like a kind of mixed media project together. And otherwise, that's something which is both bucket list and project, but I wanted to have a space where I could screen print again. And so my mate François and I are like hopefully building up a very DIY, very laid back screen print studio.
That's so exciting!
Yeah, like very cool actually. I mean, he's got the space and he's like really kindly inviting me in. So I think we're just gonna join forces and do. It's gonna be very punk, I think. It's gonna be laid back. I think is the word, but
the whole vibe. Punk, laid back, like DIY.
Yeah, so I think we're looking to do that, which is amazing. Here in Folkestone.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I'm very excited. So obviously it was a huge surprise.
Yeah.
But François was sick and he was just like, let's just do it. So that's amazing. I think like very much like myself, he's a bit of a yes man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's perfect really. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh, you must be so chuffed. Like,
that's really
I'm quite chuffed.
Yeah, because I think it's just gonna be really good to practice again. I think I got to a point where I could see I was getting better, but still like very far from my goal within screen printing. So I think it's gonna be really cool and like definitely a place where we can experiment and just do some cool stuff. So that's coming up. Yeah. And then in terms of bucket lists, I always thought, and I'm looking around, but like I'd love to maybe like hand paint some ceramics. So find people who do like beautiful objects and maybe like find a way to like paint my shapes onto, I don't know, beautiful objects and more walls. So that'd be great. Yeah. If anyone's got walls, murals they want, I'd love that.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's loads of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, very happy.
Cool. cool.
Yeah.
That's